Hi, welcome to today's class. I believe you have been following my previous classes. If you have not been following, please go back to my previous videos and watch the beginning of the classes. Remember, we are in we are taking these courses so that you will be able to code and understand JavaScript. All right? So go back and watch our beginner class on variables and what's JavaScript. Okay? So today we will be looking at data types. But please, before we continue, pause please and subscribe to this channel, please. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, like, and share. Share with your friends that have interest in JavaScript, but they don't know how to go about this. Share with your friends, your family members, colleagues that have interest in programming, but they don't know how to start. This is a basic step-by-step explanation on how to start JavaScript. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel. Thank you. All right, so in our previous class, we looked at variable, okay? We looked at variable. So today, we'll be looking at um, data types. Data types, okay? Now, in its lemma form, if you remember in last class, we said let const and var can be used to declare variables. Okay, so and we also differentiate them. Okay, if you don't know the difference, please go back to our previous video on variables and watch them. And watch it so you understand the difference between let, var, and const. In that same video, we said that this equal sign here that you all know is called assignment. It's not equal to in programming. It's called assignment. And this that you see here, this value is what is assigned to this variable. Okay, from our previous class on variables, we explained all this. Now today, we want to look at the various types of data that are stored on a variable. Okay, so I remember in that class, I kind of give a preamble that any text placed within a quote is called it's called a string. Okay, so we'll look at it in details in this course. There are 8 data types in JavaScript, 7 primitive and 1 non-primitive data types. The 7 primitives are number, string, boolean, null, undefined, and symbol. While the non-primitive is object. So all in all, we have 8 data types, right, in JavaScript. So let's go over them one by one. Let's go over them one by one. If we can't finish it in this video, we'll finish it in the next class. So we'll talk about one by one. So the first one we have here, is number. So I'll just take off this, what we have in our previous class. So let's use age, for example. Age. Of course, somebody's age can be what? A number. So I'll say 12. Okay? This number here indicates that the type of the data is called number. All right? So a number can be either integer or floating point numbers. A number can either be integer or floating point numbers. If I should come down here and say const pi is assigned 3.142. Okay, so this is a floating number. Any number with what? Decimal is called floating number. Okay, why numbers that are single like this or whole numbers are called what? Integer numbers. All right. There are a whole lot of operations you can perform on numbers. There are a whole lot of operations you can perform on numbers. You can perform multiplication operation. You can perform division operation. You can perform addition operation. You can perform subtraction operations on numbers. A whole lot of operations you can do. Okay, a whole lot of operations. I could just say, for example, let's build a simple arithmetics. I could say, let's call this variable what should we call it now? Figure 1. Okay, let's give it 12. Let's say let's figure 2, let's give it 3. So I can perform different operation on this. If I should come down here and say let result is assigned figure 1 plus figure 2. All right, so I can say alert results. So let's see what we have here. Result is 15, right? Result is 15. So remember, please, I indulge you to please go back to our class on variable and study it carefully. Okay, now if you observe now, figure 1 here is a variable holding 12, right? Figure 2 here is a variable holding what? 3. So when I call figure 1 plus figure 2, so currently what is stored in figure 1 and what is stored in figure 2? Okay, the result is what displayed what? 15. 12 plus 3, 15. So go ahead, pause the video, and try out other operations like your times on this example. Times, that is multiplication, division, subtraction on with this example. Try it out and see what you have. All right. I believe you have tried out yourself. Okay, good. Remember, when you are coding, the best way to learn and the fastest way to learn is to try your hands on examples. Okay, try your hands on examples. Give yourself a similar task to what was done as an example and see if you understand it. With that, you can get a hold of it and it becomes part of you. The more you try, the more you get used to it. All right. Um, so we have result figure 1 plus figure 2 equals to. Now let's assume I want to try something like this. Let's say I want to try mm, I'm gonna put this in a string. Okay. Then let's change this to divide. Let's see what we have. 4. Okay. That's not what I want. What I wanted. Let's change this to come or answer. Good. This will give us NaN. Whenever you see NaN, NaN means not a number. NaN means not a number. And not a number represents a computational error. Okay? It represents what? A computational error. That is an error that occurs when an incorrect or an undefined mathematical operation is being carried out. Okay? Now you're saying that answer divided by 3. Answer is a string. You can't divide by 3. Okay? You see that that in itself is what? A computational what? Error. So whenever you see a NaN, so it means what? It means there is what? A computational error somewhere. Okay? I believe that's understood, right? There are two types of numbers. Okay? There are two types of numbers. Number one, we have the regular numbers in JavaScript that are stored in 64-bit format. Okay? These numbers are stored in 64-bit format. They are also known as double precision floating point numbers. Okay? Then the second number we have are called big int numbers. Big int numbers. This number represents integers of arbitrary lengths. Okay? These numbers represent integers of arbitrary lengths. Okay? Let's say, for example, 2 raised to the power 53 minus 1. Those are big int numbers. Okay? Those are big int numbers. So let's say, for example, now we want to write a number. Okay? I want to write a number. Let's say let billion is assigned 1 underscore 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then if I should allot billion, let's see what we have. Okay, I will have that. So basically, what this underscore is doing here is trying to make this billion more readable to the human. Okay, so it kind of play the function of comma in real life scenario. All right, replace the root replace the root of comma in real life scenario. When you're writing your billion in numbers, writing on a note, you put a comma. So you use this in place of that. Okay. 7, 8, 9. Then if I should allot billion, let's see what we have. Okay, I will have that. So basically, what this underscore is doing here is trying to make this billion more readable to the human. Okay, so it kind of played the function of comma in real life scenario. All right, replace the root replace the root of comma in real life scenario. When you're writing your billion in numbers, writing on a note, you put a comma. So you use this in place of that. Okay. All right. And now in JavaScript, we can shorten a number by appending the letter E to it and specifying the zeros counts. For example, I can write this whole thing and say 1 exponential 9. Okay. So if I should allot this, you say I still have the same thing. So you can always shorten numbers using exponential, okay, if you want to. All right. So these are ways to shorten numbers. In other words, E multiplies the number by 1 with the given zeros counts. Okay. In other words, E multiplies the number of zeros by 1 with the given zeros counts. All right. So that is um, um, how it works. Okay. That's how it works. How about you want to write something very small? Something very small. How about we want to say um, a micro number? Let us call micro num. All right. Let's say 0.000001. Okay. So change this our lots. Mic num. Okay. Change our lots. Let's see that. You see, we have that. So now we can write this whole thing. Okay. We can write these whole numbers in a smaller way. Okay. I can say 1 exponential minus 6. All right. So I'll still have what? The same what? Numbers. So these are ways to do what? To shorten numbers when you are working with large numbers in JavaScript. Okay. So it is natural to so these are ways to shorten numbers when you are working with what? JavaScript. So in other words, a negative number after E means a division by 1. with a given number of zeros. Okay, a negative number after E means division by 1 with a given number of what? Zeros. While a positive number after E multiplies the number by 1 with the given numbers of what? Zeros. So please, this point you should understand it. Go back and watch these videos so you understand this logic before you start coding. When you understand these basics, you can now what? Go ahead and start coding. So now let's look at how to work with hexadecimal numbers and binary numbers and your octal numbers. Hexadecimal numbers are widely used in JavaScript to represent colors, okay, and to encode characters, all right, and for many other things, all right. So there is a shorter way to write these numbers using 0x. For instance, I can come down here and say, let's change this to hex number, hex num. Remember our camel casing? Please go back to our previous video and watch variables and understand it very well. Okay, we'll talk about camel casing in that video. All right, so we have hex num. So let's say hex num. Remember I said now that OX is used to what? Shorten numbers. So I'll say OXFF. Then if I should come down here and display hex num, all right, hex num. So I should have what? The value for that OXFF. This is the hexadecimal value for what? OXFF. All right, for OXFF. So now let's look at how to convert to string using a method called toString. Using a method called toString toString. Okay, using a method called toString with a base value. Now, what happens to this method? This method is used to return a string that is represented in the numeral system with a given base. I repeat, this method returns a string that is represented in the numeral system with the given base. For example, let's say we have a number. Let's say we have a number 255. All right, 255. Then let's allot this number. So we are to allot this number. We'll say num dot toString Let's convert it to base 16. Okay, so we should allot this. Then we'll have FF. Okay, you see that we've converted it to the base of that number. If we convert this to base 2, you say this number of base 2. So I believe you understand, you know your binary conversion. Your binary conversion. So now let's go over and look at some other methods that can be used in all of this. Let's look at rounding method. This method is one of the most used operations when working with numbers in JavaScript. Okay? We can either round up or round down numbers. Now, when working with JavaScript, when working with rounding numbers, there are several methods or functions, or there are several built-in functions that can be used when working with rounding. These functions are math.floor, math.cell, math.round, math.trunk. Okay? These are functions that are used when working with what? Rounding. So now let's look at the first one, which is math.floor. 'So which is math.floor. Let's say we have let's number num1 is given 5. Let's say let's num2 is given 3. Okay? Now let's allot num1 divide num2. Okay? Follow closely. Let's see what we have. Num1 divide num2. Good. We are having what? 1.6667. Now, if I should apply, watch carefully. Now, if I should apply maths dot floor, math dot floor. Okay. Now let's see what we have. You see, we have 1, right? Good. Now, please watch closely. Now, if I should go back and apply maths dot cell, I have 2. What does this tell you? You guess right. Good. Now, this simply tells you that what? Maths dot floor rounds down to the nearest whole number. Rounds down to the nearest what? Whole number. While maths dot cell rounds up to the nearest whole number. You see that now? Maths dot floor rounds down to the nearest whole number, while maths dot cell rounds up to the nearest what? Whole number. Is that clear? Good. So please, this difference, you should what? Take note of it. But if I should use math dot round, watch. It gives me 2, right? Still watch. What if I change this to 4? Okay, then let's see. It gives me 1. So basically, what this is telling you is that math.round does what numbers? It's round to the nearest whole number or nearest integer number. So if the number is not up to, now let's take off this. So let's take off this so you understand better, because I want to understand this thing very well. So 5 divide 4, 1.25. If you are to round this up in a mathematical way, what do you get? 1. Because this 2 is not up to what? 5. So that is what math.round does for you. It rounds it up to the nearest whole number. What if I had, okay, what if I change this to 2? What do I have? 2.5, right? Good. Now let's apply math.round to this. Maths dot, the M should be uppercase, please. Maths.round. Okay, so let's see, there's error in our code. Yes. Now let's go and troubleshoot. Let's see. You are working and it's not giving what you want. What do? Remember our last class? We use F12, right? Good. Let's see where the error is coming from. It's saying uncaught what? Type error. Math.round is not a function. You can see that, right? So this is how you use what? Your developer tool, which we talked about in our previous class. So please go back and watch our previous class so you understand better how this tool work. Okay? All right. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our page, please. All right. So we'll go back to our code and correct this error. Okay. So now this should give us something nice that we wanted. All right, see, it has rounded up towards 3. If you have any question, please leave it in the comment section. I will answer your question. Okay, I will answer your question. All right, so you see, this is what math.round. Now you can differentiate between math.round, math.cell, and math.floor. So when you are programming or you come across codes, you can interpret, okay, this is what this thing is doing. Okay, this is what this function is working on in this area. So when you see them, you can what? Interpret them, and you can actually use them when you are what? Coding. Okay, good. Then we have math.trunk. Okay, math.trunk, which is the last one here, simply removes anything after the decimal point without rounding. So let's say I'm working on numbers. Let's say I'm working with a big number. Let's say 50. Let's say I have 29. All right, 29. So let's look at this. So you see, I have a lot of numbers after the decimal points, but I don't need them. I only need the first number here. What do? I'll simply employ what? Math.trunk. You got it right. Math.trunk. So I'll say math.trunk. Okay, math.trunk. So this should do what? This should give me 1. Wow, that's it. So you see, then I can now what? Work with that value, work with that 1 that I need to do other things in my code. Is that okay? All right. So this is how you use this function. You should be able to differentiate or know when to use math.trunk, math.round, math.cell, and math.what? Floor. These are the possible ways you can deal with decimal part of a number when you are coding. Okay? These are ways to deal with numbers when you are coding. But what if you want to round a number to the nearest n number of digits after the decimal point? What do? Let's say in this case now that we had long digits. What do? We employ what we call to fix, to fixed. Okay, so we'll come down here. All right, let's just break this our code a bit down. So let's call this let results, so you get it better, is assigned. Just cut this. It's assigned this results Okay, we have this, right? Good. Now let's say want to make that number to the nearest what? Let's say 2-digit number. Okay, to the nearest 2-digit number. So what do? We will now say results dot to fixed. Okay, how many? 2. That's it, right? So in case you are working and you feel like I just need to summarize these numbers, maybe to 2-digit number. So you used it. If I want 1, I'll use 1. If I want 3, I'll use 3. So these are another way to work with numbers. So please, if you have any question, please don't forget to leave it in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Okay? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. So internally, a number is represented in 64-bit format. So there are exactly 64 bits to store a number. Okay? That's it, right? So in case you are working and you feel like I just need to summarize these numbers, maybe to 2-digit number. So you used it. If I want 1, I'll use 1. If I want 3, I'll use 3. So these are another way to work with numbers. So please, if you have any question, please don't forget to leave it in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Okay? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. So internally, a number is represented in 64-bit format. So there are exactly 64 bits to store a number. Okay? 52 of them are used to store the digit. 11 of them are used to store the position of the decimal point. And 1 bit is for the sign. Okay? So if a number is really huge, it will overflow the 64 bits storage and become a special numeric value, which is infinity. All right? So to test if a number is finite or if a number is not a number. Okay? Remember these two special numeric values, infinity and not a number. Infinity is a special numeric value that is greater than anything or less than anything, while not a number represents an error. Okay? Let's say we have so you use this is not a number, okay, to check if a number is, okay, so it's true. STR is not a number, okay, STR is not a number. So now let's look at pass int and pass float. Pass int and pass float. Numeric conversion using a plus or number is strict, but if a value is not exactly a number, it fails. For example, if I have let's color, okay, is assigned 100 px, okay, and if I want to convert this number, so I can say alert, we can use plus when I'm talking about when I'm talking about operators. We'll discuss more about plus conversion, but plus can be used to convert, to add, and can also serve as a unary operator. Okay, so when I say alert plus color, let's see what we have. Not a number. Why? Because plus is strict. The value is not exactly a number. So if you are using plus to convert it, it will fail. What if now if you watch and we have 100 px? What if I change this to 100 alone, but it's a string? Now I want to convert to number. It won't fail. It's giving me number, right? But I added px to it, okay? Because in its exact sense, this 100 px is not actually a number. Do you get? So we are trying to convert a combination of number and what, and a character, okay, and text into a number. So plus actually won't work because plus works in a strict manner. Okay. Okay. So plus works in a strict manner. So in this case, we can't use plus. Rather, we would employ the service of what? Pass int or what? Pass float. So if I'm to convert this now, since it's an integer, I can say pass int color. Now this should give me the actual conversion that I needed, 100. Okay, because pass int does not work in a strict manner. Okay, pass int does not work in a strict manner. They read a number from a string until they can't. So pass int does what? Read numbers from a string until they can't read numbers anymore. Okay. So pass int returns what? Integer. What pass float returns what? Floating point numbers. All right. So this we use this a lot when we are working with CSS and trying to style CSS. Like now, of course, you know that 100px is CSS, right? Okay, so this is that. This is how you use your pass int and your pass float. So go ahead and try out pass float and see what you get. So the pass int function has an optional second parameter. Okay, it specifies the base of the numeral system. Okay, so that pass int can also pass strings of hex numbers, binary numbers, and so on and so forth. All right, so it depends on what you are working on. We have other math functions too. We have the math.random, other math functions too, like math.random, math.max, math.min, math.power. Okay, let's say we want to generate a random number, a random number. Okay, so a random number. So we can just say, um, let me take off this. So let's say I want to generate a random number. Let's say that we should store somewhere. Okay, I will just say alert random number maths.random. Okay, so I can use math.random. So what does it do? It returns number between 0 and 1. Okay, that's what math.random does. It returns number between 0 and 1. Okay, while math.max, from the name, of course, you can know that it returns the highest number in an array. So let's say I have 3, 7, 8. If I should change this to max, all right, so it gives me 8. So if I change it to min, it gives me what? 3. All right, so then we have power. All right, we have power. So we want to solve 2 raised to power 10 or 2 raised to power 5. So let me say I have power. So let's solve math.power 5 raised to power what? 5. That's a 3125. Okay, 3125. Okay, now we've done a lot about numbers today, right? We've done a lot about numbers today. Remember, if you have any question, please leave in the comment section and I will reply accordingly. So I believe I shouldn't I shouldn't bug you much with so it doesn't become boring. Okay, so go back, listen to the videos again, step by step, understand it, understand the concept of numbers, try out things yourself. So that when we start doing some projects or taking some examples, it won't be strange to you. You know what each of these functions are doing. Okay, so in our next class, we'll look at strings and all it entails, everything about strings. So please, if I shouldn't bug you much with so it doesn't become boring. Okay, so go back, listen to the videos again, step by step, understand it, understand the concept of numbers, try out things yourself. So that when we start doing some projects or taking some examples, it won't be strange to you. You know what each of these functions are doing. Okay, so in our next class, we'll look at strings and all it entails, everything about strings. So please turn on your notifications. Please turn on your notification. Turn on your notification. Subscribe so that you will see or you will know when I upload videos. Okay, you'll be the first to know and see when I upload videos. If you have a friend that is eager to learn JavaScript, please recommend these videos to them, and so that you can also like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Thank you, and see you in our next class. Bye bye for now.